The race narrows, but the excitement continues. Yet another crucial game as once again it's about possible elimination. It's about possibly snatching a top four spot. It's Kolkata taking on Punjab, and this is what we have in prospect today. Just to confirm, the match number 45 from Dubai, and for the men in purple, it's about just keeping themselves where they are. For the men in red, I suspect also supported by a couple of other teams in certainly one other team in below them, they will be looking to push up the order. Here we are once again for some conversation, plenty of cricket on Cricbuzz Live in association with our fantasy partner, My 11th Circle. All in contrasting hues, I have to say. Joy, Harsha, myself, no question.
No, Joy's in purple. It's just the camera's making it look like that. Joy's in purple.
Yeah. But are you representing the rest of Mumbai? Because there's going to be all of Mumbai supporting Punjab, Harsha.
And whatever little chance Rajasthan have, they're supporting them as well. I suspect the next 3 games are going to be crucial. I think Punjab lose today. It's another year that they don't qualify. I suspect if Rajasthan lose tomorrow to Chennai, I think that's another year they don't qualify. And then that leaves tomorrow's Mumbai-Delhi game as the big one, where, of course, both of you will be supporting Delhi, being proper Gurgaon people.
No, it's across the border. We have no such allegiances unless it possibly impacts us. And I don't think there's any chance of us getting a franchise in one of those extra two, because those two cities are pretty much booked, Joy. So we'll wait for another few years for that.
Absolutely.
For the Gurgaon grenades to come up.
Gurgaon grenades. I like that name. The Gurgaon grenades, ready to explode at any point in time. I like it.
And anywhere. Ready to explode anytime, anywhere, because people in Gurgaon are exploding anyway, right?
No. I have this standard story which I tell people in Gurgaon that, when firstly, all our hotels have, big notices saying arms and ammunition not allowed. And the other thing is when there's Diwali and there's a lot of sound, mothers tell their children to calm them down by saying, "Don't worry, son, that's just gunfire." They're used to gunfires.
Just to confirm, this is definitely a cricket show. Don't have any qualms about it. When the three of us get together, the conversation tends to steer a little bit away, like one of our Gurgaon underpasses. But let's try and get back to the game. Quick look at the points table, Harsha. You were explaining roughly what your feeling was, and this is why. Because Kolkata now have, with those couple of wins, have got up to 10 points. Punjab are teetering on 8. So if they lose today, in this context, go ahead and tell us what you were saying earlier.
I think, Chennai have got the Q against their name. I think for all practical purposes, Delhi and Bangalore do too. Right from for the last few years, people have been telling me I've got this kida in my head about net run rate from the first game, talking net run rate. Look what net run rate has done to Kolkata. Mumbai have to win one game more than Kolkata, and I think Kolkata's qualification is in their own hands. If Kolkata win the next 3 games, it's a fabulous return, winning 6 out of 7 in the back leg. But if they win their 3 games, no one's stopping them. If, however, they drop today or drop one game somewhere, and then Mumbai win their remaining 3, that's Mumbai's only chance. But if you go back to that table, I think Rajasthan are sort of in dangerous waters as well. Because if Chennai beat Rajasthan, then I don't think Rajasthan have enough points to go through either. So I think that is where that's where we are at the moment. I'm really hoping that the next 3 days, the next 3 games don't sort of deliver those 3 results. Because if they deliver those 3, then we're going to be talking more about Gurgaon toll nakas than anything else.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll try and steer the conversation back if we can. But Joy, what we started talking about, one of the factors that we already know, 2 big men missing. When you talk about Kolkata versus Punjab, at the start of the tournament, it would have been Gale versus Russell, the big build-up. Both missing today.
Yeah, it's a lot of the color of this tournament. Gale was responsible for so much of the color in this tournament in the first 4 or 5 years. He was a huge personality, not just in terms of what he did in the field, but what he did outside. And that whole Caribbean flair, and it has added immensely to this tournament. And Russell has, picked up that mantle from 2015, 2016 onwards. And he's been that go-to player when Gale has sort of faded a little. Them not being there, I think I honestly don't feel that Gale is as much of a presence in Punjab as he does, and I think a lot of it is about how they play him. I believe if you have Gale in your unit, you have to make him important. If you give somebody like Gale and you say that you've been the star of 20 films, now I want you to play the supporting cast. I want you to be the give me a 10-minute appearance not as a hero. I don't think Chris Gale is capable of that. And I think that's what would have finally, it's the last straw that broke the camel's back, because I don't think Chris Gale is used to playing a small part. And I think his going out is something, which is, if you had to play him, if you have Gale, you play him and give him respect. If you don't, then I don't think it's any point having him reported. So I think that's what would have happened out there. Russell, of course, it's a question of injury. I mean, Kolkata would take back Russell under any circumstances. And it's a pity because he has slimmed down. He is looking fitter. And it's just so much of a pity that he's not playing.
I just hope, Gautam, I just hope that this is not the last we are seeing of Gale in this tournament. It's a tournament he has lit up. It's a tournament. And when he was playing in Bangalore, those boundaries he made a mockery of those boundaries. He's been the greatest batsman in T20 cricket. I only hope his exit from this year's tournament is not an exit from the tournament itself, though that's very likely. I mean, he's 42 now. He's 42. There's a T20 World Cup. He's already done an Afridi twice. So you never know when he's going to continue, how long he's going to continue. Sorry, when I said when Afridi is retired and come back.
But I just want to say, if you look at it, the problem is teams giving him a 3-year contract. If you're going to go to the next auction, it's all 3-year contracts. There are no 1-year contracts in the first year because it's a large auction. So I think that is one of the issues that they'll face, that, how can you give somebody like him a 3-year contract? I mean, given he'll be 45 by the time they go.
Isn't renewal of the contract dependent on the franchise? So the franchise at the end of 1 year could say, thank you very much. Or as has been known to be done, they could say, you have an injury. And if he says, I don't know, this is we know.
Yeah, look, they could. If they have to, they can do it. They can definitely do that. But it'll be a very smart franchise. I don't think it's a bad move. I think it's a terrific move. Get in Gale for a year and say, you play with us for a year, and that's all the contract is going to last. Yeah. And he could really give somebody great value.
Well, let's just quickly update you in terms of the toss. It is Punjab who have won the toss, and they have invited Kolkata to bat first. We will bring you up to date with the team changes, but let me get a quick reaction in terms of the toss. Punjab, the more desperate side, Harsha. So obviously they're looking at just wanting to know what's on the board so they can get a sense of the pitch today.
Yeah, that's true. I think part of the reason could be that they trust the pitch. And 2, could be that as the temperatures just start to drop, now it's 2 weeks since the tournament started, they might expect a little bit of dew. They might think chasing is important. So that could be a reason. So I think that could be, yeah.
And no, Harsha, absolutely. I completely agree with you. I think they're looking at it. Also, they might just play that extra batsman, because if Gale is not there, expect Enriques or Fabian Allen to play. Maybe both also, because Purin has also looked completely out of form. I think if they play Fabian Allen and Enriques, they will have a chance to pack in that extra batsman. Lots can be done out here. And again, Punjab has nowhere to go. I mean, they have their backs to the wall. They have to make the hard changes now. They have to make hard calls. And I think they still trust their batting more than they trust their bowling at this point in time to be able to finish games.
Well, I think the real thing we've been keeping an eye out there is for the changes, which of course we will bring to you in the next few minutes. The one thing we did see for sure, Harsha, was that Tim Seifert was wandering around and he was in the huddle and he was given a cap. So that's the one we know for sure. But my first reaction to that is, what does it do to the balance of the side? Because we know that Lockie Ferguson is likely to miss out. Russell's already gone. Both of them are 4-over bowlers. So with Seifert coming in, maybe they feel Venkatesh Iyer's 4 overs are safe enough.
And they had Shakib in the side. So it seemed a bit of a no-brainer to go with Shakib. Unless they think, look, we have a boom-boom style of batting, but Shakib bats exactly like that for Bangladesh when he goes into bat at number 3. Also, who's the more accomplished international batsman between Seifert and Shakib? But you never know. I mean, they might have given Seifert he might be like the wrecking crew. Just go out there, go boom, boom, and we'll see what happens. And doesn't matter how many Punjab score, we'll score more. Or in this case, we'll score so many that Punjab cannot come back, and we'll just keep going on the understanding that, look, Punjab's batting is very thin. If we get into 2 or 3 wickets, then we've done the job. So let's go and score as many as we can.
I can tell you one thing. He's, even without gloves in hand, he's a gun fielder, Tim Seifert, and he's coming with some serious form. His team didn't win the tournament. They were the favourites, but he was outscoring Colin Munro, who is the senior big hitter in that lineup, every single time. Every time they needed a man for the crisis, run rate required 15 and over, Tim Seifert nearly took them over the line. So maybe they're coming with that thought in mind, and obviously it's a similar management for the two sides, Joy. So that could be one bit of thinking.
Yeah, and I think what's happening now is that they've also, the news is that Mavi is coming in for Warrior. It is a way of looking at it. I think Punjab right now, the way Kolkata is looking at it, my only problem, and here is where I completely concur with Harsha, is you've given your top 3 batsmen, anyway, these young batsmen, the license to go out and have a go at it. You're not telling these guys to be responsible at all. That's why you've got this sort of Venkatesh Iyer, fearless cricketist, Rahul Tripathi. They're supposed to play it anyway. So what you're adding is another guy who's also going to go hell for leather. So that's something, wouldn't you rather have one guy who say that, Shakib, who is capable of changing gears, and that's one thing. And of course, the 4 overs of bowling, if Venkatesh Iyer has gone very well in his first 2 efforts, and bully for him. But if somebody collars him and really collars him badly, where are they going to go? So that's something to look at. But an interesting change. And of course, Shivam Mavi for Warrior it's like for like. It's not really changing the complexion of the side.
Well, there you go.
They want some extra pace, I think. Yeah, that probably wants some extra pace. Now,
so that's essentially 4 bowlers. Essentially 4 bowlers. So you are definitely saying Venkatesh Iyer 4 overs, unless you get a couple out of Nitish Rana.
Correct. I think they're skating a little bit on thin ice. And if they don't score enough and Punjab get off to a good start, the captain could be looking for a bowler very quickly. Tim Southee is not the most economical bowler. If he doesn't get some movements, he starts to get collared a little bit. I think they've taken a chance. It's their style of playing, but I still think they have enough batting in any case. Even if they'd pick Shakib, they had enough batting, but they could at least have gone in with one more bowling option. I mean, what happens if, say, a Shivam Mavi in the second over limps off? Because now they're going in with four and sort of 4.3 bowling options.
Yeah, that's once again a confirmation of it. And he's playing his first game of this half of the season. So that itself, you're getting in a new person in a sense. Lockie Ferguson has been really solid. He misses out. Russell has been solid. He's not even on the field, whether with bat or ball. So it's basically, that's what it's looking like. It'll be interesting reading. But Harsha, one name you mentioned in the opposition, we were just sort of doing it as a throwaway line before we went on air. And he's in the side, Shah Rukh Khan. A lot of talk about him at the auction. A lot of talk about his ability in domestic cricket. Finally, he makes it into the 11.
And what that does, now look at that side. The fact that Markram bowled the other day has emboldened them to play Fabian Allen. What this does now is, in a run chase, I've always felt till Fabian Allen is out, the run chase is still alive. Is batting, the run chase is still alive. It's allowed them to play Allen at that number at 7, not at 6, but at 7. Because I think at 6, suddenly you want to be playing like a batsman. So suddenly you lose a couple of wickets. You're saying, oh, okay. At 7, Fabian Allen's got the license. He doesn't have to bowl more than a couple of overs. If they can get a couple out of Aiden Markram, then that 5th bowler is covered over there. So I think this could well be a good move. It's a good chasing side because, I mean, we've all seen Shah Rukh Khan bat a little bit, not a lot, a little bit. He's a big fellow. He can hit big shots. So I think this could probably be a better Punjab side than some of the others we've seen. And Mayank Agarwal comes back. Those two, I'm looking forward to a good run chase today. I hope Punjab can put together a good run chase. Sorry, am I allowed to say that? Sorry, Joy. I mean, I know we've been friends for a long time.
But yeah, actually, I think the final choice, Joy, would have come down to either Fabian Allen or Chris Jordan, who was warming up. I think he was sending enough signals to the camp, pick me. But I guess they had finally decided that it's similar choices. Fabian bats a bit more. Jordan maybe is the more solid bowler. So I think that was the final pick that they made.
I think so too. And I think that at 7, Jordan is a bit high. I think Fabian Allen at 7 is okay. Jordan is 8 for me. For in an international or an IPL level tournament, Jordan is 8 for me. He's a useful bat rather than a destructive bat. I think Fabian Allen, if you look at match-winning innings, I think there's no comparison out there. What I really want to know is, how did Shah Rukh Khan, he scored some 40s early on. What did he do in the nets to go from being probably the number one choice to being a choice behind Mandeep, behind Deepak Hooda, behind what happened to him? That's what I'm just trying to understand, because it's obviously there's been no cricket outside that they've seen that much of, which has made that much of a difference to him. So, I mean, I hope it's an injury or something, because he showed quite a bit out there. He's a big, strong guy. He can hit it hard. And I just don't know, because, you're looking at somebody who you're suddenly saying is, okay, to moving slowly towards almost international recognition. Okay, India's chock full of batsmen, but he's in that consideration set of 10, 15 young men, and suddenly he was not even in his IPL side. So interesting. It's great to see him back.
A lot of it
they've also left out Harpreet Brar as a result, because they got Fabian Allen as the left arm spinner and more of a batsman than Brar. Sorry, you were saying something.
Yeah, no, I was just reiterating the point made by Joy, because a lot of us, when there's not much cricket happening before or a build up to the tournament other than the CPL, you really don't have much to go by, and there's always a gut feel of who's hitting the ball well in the nets, and that, as Joy said, we have no idea unless you're a fly in the wall in that particular training camp.
Yeah, but I think what's happened, because Markram is giving them overs, it's finally giving them a little more flexibility, because otherwise there were 6 batsmen, 5 bowlers, and never the twain shall meet. Maybe a little bit from Harpreet Brar, a little bit here and there, but largely it was 6 of this and 5 of that, which was requiring the openers to play a certain way. I would be very keen today to see KL Rahul send out a message today saying, this is how I'm going to play, and just tapping Virat Kohli on the back saying, you know what, actually I'm the opener, by the way. In case you're thinking about that, I'm the opener, by the way. But he can do that because he's got a solid Markram to follow. He's got a big hitting Shah Rukh Khan to follow. And he's got Fabian Allen to follow. So today's run chase, I think Punjab have picked the right side for a run chase today. I only hope the wicket holds. I only hope it doesn't become one of these 130, 140 wickets. The pitch report says it's a fine wicket, because these 130, 135 matches just suck the life out of a tournament.
Well, at least between the 3 venues, what we've seen so far, sitting this far away, is that Dubai is the best of the 3. So we should be able to trust this. Sharjah's just not managed to get their square correct, and Abu Dhabi has traditionally kept to its slower side. But let's hope that it could be a high-scoring, entertaining, but also an equally matched encounter. What it does mean is a few changes for you, and some critical changes. If this is the time with about 18 minutes to go that you're contemplating your My 11 Circle teams. For those of you not doing it and coming in for the first time, here's a little reminder. Get to my11circle.com, download the app, and it's all in front of you. The instructions are there. Pick an 11, pick a captain, and of course, at the end of the day, you're looking forward to a 1 crore first prize to pick up just by picking your 11 players and a captain. But we also try and help you out with our My 11 Circle smart picks, and this is who we think it is. Remember, no big men here, no Gale, no Russell. They would have been possibly in our smart picks. Sunil Narayan, again, very slow start, Harsha, to this second half of the tournament. You're not quite sure. He's not opening the batting. So you're thinking all your eggs are in his bowling, but he's delivered.
I mean, he scored some crucial runs a couple of matches ago. Last match is the only one I think he went sort of 4 overs, 1 for 40, I think. But otherwise, him and Chakravarti have been the standout bowlers for Kolkata. And it's a measure of how Chakravarti has grown that you look down this side and you say, okay, I think these 2 are the key bowlers. And the fact that you're mentioning those 2 names in the same breath, one a tournament legend and one a Chakravarti, you're mentioning the same breath, tells you, I think he's very comfortable now with this action. You know, it's almost like vines. They take a little time to mature before they deliver good grapes. So now this action is getting much more comfortable. Why are you laughing? I'm learning a little bit about wine here and there. Okay. So I think he's now more comfortable with this action. It's allowing him to bowl a lot of his variations. So and now he's free, right? He's probably batting 8. So he's free to go and bat the way he wants.
I was only smiling because our common friend Wilco, had he been around, he would have had something to say about this.
No, I think he would have definitely would have said, but
he was having a go at you about something very interesting in the com box, which I don't recall right now, and you were like, "Go for it. Uh, it'll come to me
I
at
don't
some
know.
point."
I don't know. Wilco tries. Wilco tries.
He does more often than not. But Joy, one more factor. You mentioned a few minutes ago about how all these guys are going hard at the top. Rahul Tripathi, Venkatesh Iyer. So does that mean we don't even bother to say or suggest that Sunil Narayan could find a place up there with insurance of Tim Seifert in the middle?
Yeah, exactly. I think everyone now is a kamikaze batsman. Out there, it's a kind of team that I know Owen Morgan likes it, everyone going hell for leather. Perhaps an England team which had bats that deep, that depth is allowed. It doesn't always work with the Kolkata unit, which doesn't possibly have that kind of level of batting. But I'll tell you one more thing. He has always found Punjab, whether in Punjab or in Kolkata or in other neutral venues, a very happy hunting ground. The first match that he ever played, he wasn't all that good. The second match that he played for Kolkata was that bowling effort, that 5 for 19 was at Kolkata, and he tied them in knots. He absolutely tied them in knots. And he's always enjoyed it. He scored a lot of runs against them as well, that 75. So somewhere he sees that red and something happens. That his favorite color is hot pink. So I think he feels that it's close enough. So probably Rajasthan and Kolkata, the people he sort of Rajasthan and Punjab are the people he sort of singles out for his best performances.
Can I say something little that might seem a little scandalous? Is the captain worried about his form and therefore adding an extra batsman in the middle? And so going with a batsman rather than an all-rounder in the middle? You never know. What I will tell you about that team, though, the team that they've picked today, I don't see that team beating a very strong, powerful batting side. So I don't think I would pick this team against Bangalore or against Delhi or Mumbai. I don't think they'd pick this side. I think they've picked this side saying, look, it's Punjab. Let's go bang, bang and see how it works.
Well, I don't think it's scandalous at all, Harsha. I think, if anything, Owen Morgan's the kind of person who would probably say if he's feeling completely out of form, he would drop himself. He's got Dinesh Karthik as an able deputy. He would probably drop himself. No runs coming from me. Seifert come in there, be in the middle order. Let's get an extra bowler in. We are short on that.
Easier to do that in your team. Easier to do that in your fantasy team. Is he in your team?
Morgan, he's in nobody's team.
I'm going to be watching today for Morgan. Let's see what he does.
Morgan and MS Dhoni have not been picked by anyone.
I think now that's the point. That's now the left field pick is to pick them. But I tend to agree with Harsha in the sense that even if Morgan's in the worst of form, he cannot look at dropping himself, because there's been so much drama about a player being captain, stepping down, him coming in. For him to now abdicate the responsibility and say it's sitting hard, he cannot do it now. And Kolkata, frankly, as a franchise, cannot afford it. So they have to, for better or for worse, Morgan has to go out there and Morgan has to lead from the front. Even if he gets out on 10, he has got to go and lead from the front. This is an interesting Kolkata. I think the Kolkata team is better chosen to chase than to bat first. This is more of a chasing team for me than a batting first team. But, they wouldn't have known how the toss turned out. And
on the other hand, a top order that's kamikaze might just be well suited to put a lot of runs on the board. So we'll see how they go with that. Somebody who's in that top 5, but is probably the only non-kamikaze of that, Harsha, would be Shubman Gill. The hair looks a bit like that, little dodgy, but otherwise he'll want a solid performance while everybody around him can explode.
Gautam, your hair's rising 2 inches, 3 inches above your hair, and you're talking about other people's hair.
It's one color, though. It's one color.
At least you have an option. At least you have an option. Yeah, I know he's dyed that a strange color. But I think that since he's embraced this free stroking style, he started to look better. He's taking the chance, I know. But I think they've told him, look, doesn't matter if you give me 20 of 11. It doesn't matter. And in one day, instead of 20 of 11, he'll make 34, 35. But that is the way this game is played. I mean, I keep going back to the Chennai chase some games ago, where everybody made 28, 30, 31, 32, but nobody dawdled. So I think landmarks, to be honest, landmarks are passé in T20 cricket. Landmarks were passé some time ago. It's just some of us still get stuck with landmarks. A 50 doesn't mean anything at all in T20 cricket. A 40 of 29 balls is far better than a 50 of 37 balls. So... 38, 39 balls, whatever.
I thought you were going to say 50 or 47 balls. Or the kind of Riddiman Saha innings, with all due respect to him, he got 44, which you'd say,
Yeah.
oh, well, he made 44, but he made it of 46
No, he
balls.
made them 46 balls. Yeah. So I think if you're making a 50, you can't make it in 40 or greater than 40 balls anymore.
Fair point. So we've got Shubman Gill, we've got Sunil Narayan, his record against Punjab impeccable. And let's get in someone from the opposition who's been such an outstanding young man every time he steps up there. And just have a look at the reason we put this up for you is wicket takers in over 17 to 20 since 2020 and the age comparisons over there and how he stacks up against all these.
No, I think Arshdeep is an outstanding bowler. And I think one of the things that I admire most about him is his calmness. I mean, for a bowler of his age, he's really not played international cricket. All these big stars and all that, bowling in the death is a huge pressure. He takes it on a regular basis. And he's out there and he stands and he plays them. I mean, he doesn't back away from anyone. It's part of the whole Punjabi temperament also. I can take on the world. And I love the kind of this thing. But he does it without a swagger. He does it in a very calm way that, you know what? I'm not scared of you. It doesn't matter who you are. You may be the biggest international player. I vote you. And I love, I don't see him and see that, wow. When you saw Bumrah and you see the pace and what he does, you say, wow. I don't see him and I say, wow. I say, nice action, interesting, not that fast, but the total package of a guy who doesn't back away, the calmness and everything he brings, I'm just a huge fan of Harshdeep Singh.
He seems to nail those wide Yorkers. If you notice in this year's tournament, that Yorker just inside the tram line outside a batsman's off stump has come back. We've seen quite a lot of that happening. We saw Karthik Tyagi bowl those very well. And Arshdeep just seems to land those there. But for such a young kid, such an inexperienced kid, from last year itself, he took on that role last year, and he's got into that role this year. To be able to do that consistently at 9 and over is fantastic. Only Bumrah above him in that list, better than him in that list.
Yeah, I think Joy, but you also nailed it in terms of just that temperament. Was it him who bowled that one over when they had the option of all the other experienced bowlers, including Riley Meredith? It was a crucial defense, and they went to him. They gave him that crucial over, even though they should have been the other way around, and he delivered.
He delivered. That's what I love about him. He has that ability to deliver, and this is the beauty of franchise cricket. Somebody like Arshdeep Singh may never play for India because God knows we probably have the finest fast bowling attack we have had in the history of Indian Test cricket. Romantics might look at it otherwise. So he might never get that chance. But franchise cricket allows us to see people and personalities like this at their best. People who are playing their 110%, 115%, 120%, bringing their all to the game and a little bit more. And I just love what, that's the core of franchise cricket. That's the core of it. Great domestic players making fantastic, one day just becoming gods because they do something that even international players couldn't do. That's what makes heroes.
Well, that fairy tale might just come good in terms of the national side. But first up, we are, of course, going to be seeing Kolkata setting a score. And I think that everyone's going to be focusing on Venkatesh Iyer yet again. Does a time come when you start, Harsha, wondering that, okay, fine, I've had one approach throughout. Now people are starting to look at me in a slightly different light. Will his game start to change a little bit?
When you've done 3 or 4 games, first you come out, you have no fear of failure because life's a party, right? I'm getting to play for Kolkata, this fabled side. Lynn and Sunil Narayan opened the batting. Now it's me opening the batting. This fabled side, 2-time winners, I'm opening the batting. Wow, life's a party. I come good. Everything I touch turns to gold. I take catches. I come into bowl. Now suddenly people are talking about his education background, what a smart guy he is. They want to know about his family. They're suddenly saying, oh, Venkatesh Iyer, Devdutt Padikkal, Venkatesh Iyer. Now suddenly people are saying, hang on, this kid's interesting. Let's watch him. Now how does he react? Does he start to think, oh, I can't fail now? And does he now start to get the big stage jeepers that he wouldn't have got because he was cool? So I think that is where the team management will have to look after him and say, right, you're building a reputation, young man. Keep playing the way you were. But as we know, a lot of things are very easily said. So if he succeeds again today, fantastic for him because I like watching him play. But slowly these tests will now start to come.
But Joy, rewind a few years. Just imagine you're sitting in that dugout. Obviously, you haven't had a say in this. This is the 11. Does his bowling inspire confidence in you?
No, see, the worry is that bowlers like him, as a definite fifth bowler, no. As a sixth bowler, I'll say, okay, let's give him a couple and see where we go with it. But I mean, as a fifth bowler, and I was just looking at the Punjab side, wondering how many left-handers does the Punjab side have? Because remember, to play Nitish Rana is better off bowling against left-handers. Nitish is pretty good against left-handers, and I'm not sure this Punjab side has too many left-handers in that unit.
Nicholas Pooran, that's it.
That's Pooran, yeah.
That's it.
So
That's it.
That's the problem. So Nitish Rana to bowl to right-handers is not always the best option possible if you're looking at Nitish as a first. So that's the thing. They just have to hope these four don't get collared. Punjab has not been traditionally good at it because, maybe Pooran, they're really, hard-hitting batsmen. Pooran and this thing haven't done it. Pooran has not been in form. Fayman Allen hasn't played. But somebody someday is going to collar them. And if today is the day that they get collared, that would be their worry. And remember, you're chasing, you're defending with 4.5 bowlers. You're not attacking with 4.5 bowlers. You're defending
Exactly.
with them.
Well, that means you get the insurance, like you talk about insurance for due. Maybe you get a little insurance for the 4.5 bowlers and say, we've got to get another 25 on the board.
Depends on, they picked a side to do exactly that. They've picked a side to go and score the big runs. They've picked a side to say, look, let's go and break a record at this ground. Let's make 175. Let's make 180. What's a pass score? 160. Okay, we've got the license to go for 175. Just got to be a bit careful sometimes. Everyone starts going for it. One top edges, one gets off the pad onto the stump, one gets run out. They've got to be careful of that. But they've picked a side to say, everybody, let's just go for it and put a total beyond reach. So there's not a single batsman there, I think, will be told, just hang in. They just keep going. Also, the other thing, if you look down that side, Kolkata, Venkatesh Iyer, left-hander, Owen Morgan, left-hander, Nitish Rana, left-hander, Sunil Narayan, left-hander. They got 4 out of 8 left-handers in that side. So at any given time, they will have a left-hand, right-hand combination, which is, especially down those middle overs, that's so critical. So from that point of view, yes, it's a good side. But, trust a McCullum-Morgan combination to come up with something unexpected.
Yes, certainly. But one person, just one quick factor in that Punjab bowling lineup, they will know. They will have seen the opposition. They will know the state of the game. They will be more than aware that Kolkata is going to come hard in what they've been doing. Someone like a Ravi Bishnoi, the energy he brings, never mind right-handers or left-handers and what the makeup of it, that big factor he's going to be in that middle.
Yeah, I love Ravi Bishnoi. I think he, again, that Kartik Tyagi, Ravi Bishnoi were the have been the standouts of that under 19 finalist team, and he's a fantastic bowler. The interesting one is again seeing a bowler whose action is such that he never really bowls a leg break. He bowls the straighter one in the googly. He doesn't really bowl the leg break at all. So effectively, you play him like an off spinner. You can't play him. If you do, you don't play him like a leg spinner at all. But within that he has that limitation. He's such a good bowler. It's not funny. And again, great temperament for that age. I mean, Arshdeep and Ravi Bishnoi, and I look at it and I see some of their more senior guys get jittered when they get hit. And these guys are kids. These are 19, 20, 21-year-olds. They seem to be so much calmer. And you say, this is a brave new India. I love the way Ravi Bishnoi also, the way he bounces back. He never looks as if he's completely lost it, He'll give you this dry smile. If he's hit, he'll come right back at you.
Brave New India. I love that phrase. I can see a brave New India walking out to bat in terms of Shubman Gill in the red handkerchief, Venkatesh Iyer coming in there, Bishnoi and Arshdeep getting ready at the other end. What a battle we have in prospect. In the meantime, we'll just take a little breather. Yeah. So, Joy, you can give us your brave new question.
Joy, you in good form? Are you in good form?
No.
Okay.
I had a couple of tough ones a few days back. This is easy. The first was achieved by a current member of a team's coaching staff. That means he's on the coaching staff of one of the teams playing. The fifth by a current team captain. The third last by a current Rajasthan player. Okay, a player who's currently in Rajasthan. Who got the last two? Who all got the last two? I'm just talking about.
So there are 5 in all.
I'm not telling you. No, there are many more. There are many more. I'm just telling you about the first.
Got the last two?
Yeah, who got the last two? Or who all got the last two if there's more than one person?
Is Tanmay proof?
I'm not telling. Huh? No.
Tanmay proof? Okay.
I'm giving it 3 minutes. 3 minutes, and the vultures are circling all as we speak.
Hashtag Cricbuzz Live is where the vultures circle. But today, I think we should have a very interesting set of score predictions because
Yeah.
The last couple, I must confess, the only two I've got right in this entire tournament have both been completely ridiculous predictions. They were nowhere close to where they should have been. A 144
But
that should have been a 180,
I
and a
love the
139 that should
the
have been a
very subtle manner
175.
in which you said I got both right. I love it.
No, but
But I got both right. I didn't expect,
yeah.
but I got both right.
Tukka, it's called Tukka, Harsha.
Yeah, but I got both
It's
right.
called
Yeah.
it's called humble brag. That's what it's called.
Okay, fine.
I got both right.
Nope.
Okay, yeah.
Okay,
I don't know how,
but
but I got both right.
In all honesty, on a good high-scoring track, if I said 199 and it's 197, I would say. But those were way off the mark.
What are you going today? What are you going today, Gautam
want me to
Bhimani?
start?
What are you going today? Yes.
Okay, I'm going to
You won it
start
twice,
with
you see. You won it twice. You got to start.
175.
Okay. Bhattacharjya Babu.
161.
আমি
Boy
বলবে
owns? Very good.
আমি কলকাতা ব্যাটিং করেছে আমি 165
165. Okay, fine.
হ্যাঁ
You're sneaking in right next to Joy. All right, there you have it. 161, 165, and 175. Where is it going to be? They've given it to Fabian Allen, who's come into the side to bowl the opening over. So that's the first salvo
get
fired
one
by
out.
KL Rahul.
and the first ball's gone for 4. Ooh. Okay.
So it's going to be an interesting battle. That's all we have for now. Quick reminder, Cricbuzz Plus, that's where you want to go if you want everything that you've heard here, that you like here, but are just one of those who want much more out of cricket. That's where you'll get it. Lots more. And you will get, of course, lots more from us right here on the show. 10th over, we'll have a little discussion on Cricbuzz Combox about where this innings is going. Kolkata setting the score. Punjab desperately need to chase it down to get to 10 points. It's all on this pre-match show. Cricbuzz Live brought to you in association with our fantasy partner, My 11 Circle.